Hi, good afternoon, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us on this Sunday afternoon. Hopefully you guys are trying to stay warm during this winter weather. Intisar Faulkner here with First Alert meteorologist Sandra Brogan to get you guys prepared for the rest of your Sunday and the week ahead, Sandra.
Yeah, we've got some warmer temperatures, later this week, but, we still have these temperatures that'll be falling to below freezing again after we get to just a little bit above freezing later this afternoon, but they'll fall back to below freezing the next couple of mornings, so we are going to be worried about those icy roadways once again, also sidewalks and parking lots as well. But I know a lot of folks are happy about the snow, and here's a look at some snowfall totals reported from around the area. So Lugoff reporting 5 inches of that snow.
Wow.
And Winsboro, you were in Winsboro yesterday.
Yes, it was coming down pretty heavy.
Yeah, they got 4.5 inches of that snow. Also Columbia, we had some varying reports in Columbia, anywhere from an inch to close to 4 inches, and including that 3.1 inch report there as well. But Camden 2.6, Lexington 3 inches, Somerton and Calhoun County 2.5 inches, also St. Matthews a little more than 2.5 inches. So I think it was a nice treat for all the snow lovers. I hope everyone had some fun getting out there and enjoying it. It was nice powdery snow.
Yes.
So it was easy to get off the cars.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was happy that it was like a powdery type of, snow, because not only does it compact quickly, so even when you're talking about the amount of inches that we were getting, it didn't seem like it was that much, but then also as far as it just kind of melting off a little bit or dusting off your car, it was a little bit easier to get up this morning and do that.
Yeah, and you mentioned the compacting of the snow, because, we did have, several waves from time to time of snow showers, and in some places, that snow compacted before the powdery snow fell on top of it, so it may be a bit deceiving.
Yeah.
I'm trying to say, like on the sidewalks and stuff like that, so just be careful with your step, because you may have some ice underneath that snow.
Absolutely. If you have any plans to, maybe have some snow fun today, just be careful. Continue to take those breaks, because it's still cold out there. Even though, the snow's not falling anymore, temperatures-wise, it is still cold out there. So I know we've been talking about making sure that folks take breaks when they head outside. And looking ahead, Sandra, I know outside of today, as we look into tomorrow, another First Alert weather day. So how are we looking as far as the Midlands when it comes to the continuation of our snow weather here?
Well, that system is long gone, but it's still close enough to increase our winds across the area. So we still have those gusty winds through today, and that's making we're not going to get that much warmer than where we are right now. We'll get as warm as the mid-30s, but it'll still feel like 20s out there because of the winds, but the winds will die down later tonight. We did have an extreme cold warning in effect for this morning. That has expired. That was due to those wind chills down to the single digits to close to 0 degrees. But now we have a cold weather advisory in place for later this evening into tomorrow morning, and we're going to see our temperatures dropping down into the teens again for tonight into tomorrow morning.
Yeah, so we're not absolutely in the clear just yet. We were just talking about even here in downtown Columbia, taking a peek outside. The roadways look clear, the sun is shining, but it is still very cold. And as you mentioned, overnight with those temperature drops, it could still cause, for some possible hazard for people who have morning commute tomorrow, early hours. So still something we need to make sure that we're taking care of.
Yeah, it's kind of a double-edged sword, the sunshine, because it's also helping to melt some of that snow, but then that snow is going to turn to ice, or that snow melt, I should say, is going to turn to ice by tomorrow morning. But this is what we're dealing with right now. We've got the sunshine, but we're in the 20s still.
Yeah, much.
Yeah, no, not a lot. And we're only really going to be a few degrees above freezing for this afternoon. So mid-30s, the freezing mark is 32 degrees. So we'll just be a little bit above that. So still, the impacts, the icy roads, also the brutally cold conditions that we have out there. We still have winds out there that will make it feel colder than what you see on the thermometer. And even though those winds die down later tonight, it's, temperatures in the teens. It's temperatures in the teens for wake up tomorrow morning.
Yeah, so you still want to stay alert. Even though the snow, like we said, isn't falling anymore, have that WIS First Alert News app handy. You can get all of these alerts on the go for the rest of your Sunday into your Monday morning. And I know there are a couple of closures for schools and businesses that we'll talk about in just a few minutes, but we have had our crews out doing live coverage throughout the entire weekend, Sandra. I mean, I was in Winsboro yesterday. We had some crews in Camden, and then our Derek Rush was actually in Newberry this morning. He's been out there all weekend long, so he was able to catch up with some crews on what they're doing out there to make sure that the roadways are safe. And some people that were actually traveling in town and they got kind of stuck in this snow. So let's check out what he had to say earlier this morning.
We're here in Newberry County. After the snow comes ice, and that's exactly what happened to the grounds overnight. Just to give you an idea of what the surfaces are like right now, -13 is what's popping up on our thermometer gun. And if I step out, you can see some of the road conditions right now in Newberry. Some of the most frequented roads just off 34 and 76 headed towards Winsboro and Greenwood areas. Now, the sheriff's office and other emergency response agencies have been helping essential workers commute to and from their jobs. Also, what's been happening, though, is accidents outside of those. The sheriff says that they have had multiple accidents since this ice came down overnight. Take a listen.
Well, just as the second wave of that snow came in, accidents picked up. We ended up running about 22 accidents yesterday. Only one would be considered serious, but not life-threatening.
And we've also spoken to several students. One student actually who came all the way from Montana to go to Newberry College and thought that she was going to get the last of snow when she came.
I left Montana to get out of this weather, and it followed me here.
Now, this is going to be hazardous, the sheriff says, especially over the next couple of days with the snow and ice both melting and refreezing as temperatures rise and fall throughout the day. But of course, we'll keep the updates, and we encourage you to check your First Alert weather apps and all the updates that our meteorologists give throughout each day. Reporting here in Newberry County, I'm Derek Rush. We'll send it back to you.
Yeah, our crews are doing a great job out in the field to keep us informed, but I know the sheriff was mentioning there earlier, you know, if it comes to just travel altogether, I feel like every county has been saying stay off the roadways if you can.
For good reason,
For good reason. You know, I love to see the kiddos there and, you know, all the college students having their snowball fights and enjoying it because you should. So if you can't get out safely and enjoy it, but as far as travel and driving, just try to avoid it as much as you can.
Yeah, I love to see them, enjoying the snow as well. May not be the best for making snowballs, but they definitely did. And, you can see the snowball kind of falling apart as they threw it, but still having a great time.
They made it their way, trying to have fun in the snow. But day planner wise, Sandra, when we're looking at temperatures, like you said, going out through the evening and even into tomorrow, are we going to see, as far as you said, there's no more snowfall specifically, but, what exactly do people just need to be aware of? Could we have chances of any like black ice freezing over? How cold is it going to get?
So, so we'll be into the mid 30s for highs this afternoon, but, as early as around 6 o'clock, we'll start to already be approaching that freezing mark once again. And certainly, by 8 and 9 o'clock, we'll be below freezing. So overnight, those temperatures will be dropping down into the teens, and so that's well below freezing. So we're definitely going to see anything that does melt today. And we're be above freezing for a few hours, and so we're not going to melt away all the snow. But we will have enough snow melt that I think that it is going to refreeze and cause those problems, those areas of black ice for tomorrow morning. And of course, we're going to see more of that snow melting for during the day Monday, because Monday we have temperatures into the 40s with a lot of sunshine. So we'll see more of that snow melting. So, may even see more black ice Tuesday morning.
That's definitely something that I am familiar with. Like I said, being from the Midwest, we get snow events all the time, and it is one of the things that is just a huge precaution and a huge, hazard because you can't see it, So if you're on the interstate, even on the streets, I mean, it's not just necessarily the highways. Sometimes you can find a little slick spot in some of these back roads. So again, if you can avoid travel altogether, do so, just because it makes it easier. I think sometimes we don't think about not only us getting out on the roads, the safety risk to ourselves, but also our first responders, who if you do get into a situation, they now have to come out on the road. So it's just best for everyone if you can stay home, stay put, hunker down, just for one more day or so.
Yeah, and when we talk about black ice being an issue, sometimes the pavement will just look wet, but it's really a sheet of ice on the roads.
Definitely want to be careful out there. And speaking of our first responders, and just staying in the loop of our breaking news that we had been following this morning, there was an apartment fire that we had followed earlier this morning. Arlena Allen was out at that apartment fire in St. Andrews. It happened at the Bent apartment complex. 24 residents were displaced from this, and we were able to talk to Chief Aubrey Jenkins this morning to give us some details. So far, he said that there were no injuries, thankfully. I think that there was one resident that did have to be taken to the hospital just, as a precaution, but everyone was able to get out. The cause of that fire is still unknown, but we were able to get some video from one of the residents earlier this morning showing that blaze. So take a look at this.
It ain't gonna be able to spread, is it? It's not gonna spread to the other apartments, is it? It's not gonna spread to the other apartments, is it?
You all right, you all right. Hey, sir, go over that way.
Wow, incredible video
Yes,
there.
yeah.
Again, really glad that everyone was able to make it out okay. And again, the cause of the fire has not been released at this time. But this is also a great chance, Sandra, I think, to just send out that reminder. Obviously, with these colder temperatures, people are heating up their homes, whether that be a space heater or a fireplace. Of course, we don't know if that was the instance here
Right,
at that apartment complex, but it's just a good reminder to make sure if you have that space heater, it's not an unattended room. Same thing with the
Yeah,
fires.
Can't
you know,
just leave it on overnight.
yeah, don't just leave it on. Make sure that you're taking those precautions to turn off those safety heaters, make sure the fire is completely out. And also we had, some tips and updates from experts earlier this week. We'd been reminding residents the oven, I know, is something that a lot of people use to heat their home as well. Not a good idea.
No.
Don't do it, so make sure that you're just attending to any of those heating things to make sure that we can, save yourself from a fire risk like this.
Yeah, and space heater, keep it away from your bed, your curtains, anything that could ignite.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we do want to send you off with a lighter note this afternoon. We got some great pictures in from some of our viewers. We want to make sure that you can continue to send in those photos.
Look at that snowman. That's good.
know, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I had some great pictures I saw on social media, but I mean, the kiddos were really out there yesterday creating some masterpieces. This
wait
is
a minute.
so cute.
Oh, it's a little elf.
A little elf on the
Into a
shelf
snow
in the
angel.
snow. Oh, that is a great one. Oh.
That's a good snow
That
angel.
is a good snow angel. Oh, this is cute.
There's a little four-legged angel.
Yeah,
So cute.
The pets love the snow too. How cute is this? Oh, wow. So many adorable photos. Please continue to send in your photos and videos to us at WISTV.com. You can upload all of your pictures and videos so we can share them with the entire community because, yeah, even though, it's a time for us to kind of hunker down and stay alert, it's still fun for us here in the Midlands to see the snow.
Kids love the snow. I remember as a kid, just my nose pressed up against the window, just waiting for the first snowflakes to fall.
Yeah, it's so exciting. So we want to make sure that you guys have fun out there and send us those pictures. Also, we want to give you a reminder of some of those closures. Of course, those are also on our website. We have a full list of all, school closures, business closures, even up until Tuesday. So right now, the latest updates that we just got into our newsroom, Lexington School District 2, they're going to be closed Monday. They are closing school for Monday. And then Newberry County just announced that they're going to have e-learning days for both Monday and Tuesday. So parents, just, make sure you have that update, know what you need to do for the kids as they wake up for it tomorrow morning. But several school districts have already announced e-learning days from last week and some closures as well. So you can find all of that again on our website at WISTV.com. And we also have a way that you can submit any of those closures. I believe it's closings at WISTV.com is the email address to send it to if you do have closures coming up.
Okay. Yeah, and submitting those photos. If you have the First Alert Weather app, we actually have a feature on there. You scroll down, it says submit your photos here. That's another way you can submit those pictures that we were talking about earlier.
Absolutely. And we have been doing this coverage, this extended winter coverage all weekend long. So I know if you're watching us right now on social media, maybe on your phone or on Facebook, you can actually enjoy all of our digital newscasts on the big screen on a smart TV right now with our free app, which is on Roku. We're live streaming there all day between our regular newscasts. So again, if you want to streamcast any of these digital shows, you can keep up to date that way as well.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Stay warm, stay safe, and we'll see you again right here at WIS.